So welcome back to DC Silver Age Storytime, and today we have a story from Superman 130, published in July 1959, with story by Otto Binder and art by Wayne Boring, and this one is called The Town That Hated Superman. Superman, we forbid you to enter our town. Go back to Metropolis. The police are treating me like an outlaw. Why? All right, so Superman is on his normal patrol and sees a guided missile that is falling. Instead of falling towards the sea, it's falling towards the city, so he smashes it. But he is then shot at by some men in a tower. Great Scott, are they criminals? They can't scare me. I'll capture them. And wait, they aren't criminals, not according to that big sign. So the sign says, Cyrusville city border off limits to Superman by order of Mayor Bruce Cyrus. This means you. What's the meaning of this? Why has your town banned me? Never mind, Superman. That's our mayor's business. Just keep going. You can never set foot in our town. So he decides to dress in a regular civilian costume and will be referring to himself as Kent Clark. Very clever. So he's wandering around town, just trying to get a lay of the land. This one boy ends up getting a Superman cape, and the father says, "Don't do that," and he just tears up the cape because they would get in big trouble if they have any reference to Superman. Kent Clark says, "I'm from out of town, sir. Tell me, why does Bruce Cyrus hate Superman?" "Nobody knows, mister. You'd better not ask questions about Superman. His name is taboo in town. You'll only get in trouble." So Kent Clark ends up getting a job as a reporter and writes an article. I'll spread the story of how I, being Superman, stopped that guided missile all over the front page. I'll illustrate it with some Superman photos I have in my briefcase. I'll set the type too. So he prints an article, Superman stops guided missile, but the editor says, "Good heavens, man, I'll pull down the shades before anybody sees that. Cyrus would run me out of town if I printed the story." So again, he doesn't know why Cyrus hates Superman, but he says, Ken Clark asks, "Well, why don't the people just leave the city?" And he says, "Because we like it here. Cyrus donates millions to the town's welfare. He pays high wages in his factories. He's good to us." So he hates Superman, but I guess he's a good fellow. We have another example where a plane flies over and they drop a bunch of Superman figures of dolls. I guess not knowing that Superman is banned. I don't think it's just to jerk them around. But the police go out and start rounding up all of these figures. So it says donated to National Charity Chest, sponsored by Superman. Well, maybe it is. Oh, maybe Superman is playing with them. I don't know. But they start burning these statues. And Kent Clark says, "Why, this is like the Nazi book burnings. I've had enough of this senseless campaign of hate against me. I'll use my super breath to blow out the fire." And so Cyrus asks, "Why, or who put the fire out?" And Kent Clark says, "I am, Cyrus. I'm from out of town where Superman is respected and honored. You have no right to treat him like a criminal. What has he ever done wrong? Go ahead, tell the people." And so they decide to lock him up, but they can't because he's Superman. And even a tractor with a chain can't drag him out. So Cyrus finally figures out, wait a second, this guy's Superman. And so Superman does admit it and just blows off his suit, his regular suit, business suit. And so he asks Cyrus, he finally says, "All right, why do you hate me so much?" And Cyrus says, "Everyone knows your general history, Superman. As a boy, you lived in Smallville, and I did too. You were once an orphan, so was I. Think back to those days, Superman, and you'll find a clue as to why I hate you." And now Superman has photographic memory, super recall, but he cannot figure out why Cyrus would hate him. So he asks Superman to travel back in time. They do go back in time, but they're phantoms, which is not, I've never seen that before, where Superman has traveled through time but been a phantom, sort of like Christmas story or whatever with Ebenezer Scrooge. Um, but they are observing a young Cyrus. So that right there is Cyrus or Bruce Cyrus, and he's trying to be adopted. It's annual adoption drive. So all these parents have come to the orphanage to adopt, and he believes that this young boy is young Superman. He doesn't know what Superman's identity is. So a couple looks interested in Cyrus. Um, the father seems interested in Bruce Cyrus. The mother seems interested um, in the younger child, which he believes to be Superman. And all of a sudden, the a super baby pulls this rug out and throws him out the window into some mud. And he says, and as a result, when the parents saw me dripping with mud, they didn't want any boy who was so untidy. And, oh, Bruce, I'm sorry, but we've adopted the little waif. So I was left a lonely orphan for the rest of my boyhood. I grew up alone, unloved, unwanted. I was never adopted. Is it any wonder I hate you for your baby trick, Superman? You robbed me of a mother and father. But I wasn't that baby, Cyrus. So it turns out that I guess this is I'm a little confused. So this is the boy, but apparently he pulled the rug out um, to save him from this falling vase, which would have killed young, or as a chandelier would have killed young Bruce Cyrus. So he was actually saving his life. That chandelier would have struck you as a boy, Cyrus, if you hadn't been pitched out the window. Then I not only mistook the wrong baby for Super Baby, but also owe my life to him, that is you. That boy Bruce was nice, but we decided we wanted the fun of raising a young baby, teaching him to read and write and all the rest. So it turns out they weren't going to adopt Bruce Cyrus anyway. So all of his hatred was not warranted. So they bring him back to 1959. The town alarm is ringing. Let's see what the anti-Superman squad is after this. I will admit, this is a little confusing because he says that is him, but he looks just like that. So I'm a little confused, but that's okay. Anyway, we just know that Bruce Cyrus was all confused. So they have this statue. This is Superman Mobile X-ray. So this is for the children to X-ray them. We're only here to give children free chest X-rays. The device is in the form of their hero. Leave our town, Superman. No hero here. Stop, guards. Superman is here. Now, I hereby cancel all anti-Superman laws. The doctor can use the device. But your guard damaged it and it won't produce X-rays now. But, oh boy, the real Superman is using his X-ray vision. I'm not sure that it's a good idea to just start X-raying kids, but he does say that he's using a weak beam of X-ray until they can repair the device. So apparently he does realize that X-rays can be dangerous. There is a risk. Bruce Cyrus called me to pick up a donation of $1 million to charity, and the town that hated Superman no longer exists. So I kind of like this story. It's got a pretty neat hook to it, and a good payoff. So that is The Town That Hated Superman.